Thank you very much. We may wish to be seated, please. In creating the heavens and the earth, and all that dwells within and in between, the Almighty never had to consult anybody. After all, He's omnipotent, omniscient, and merciful, one whose actions are beyond being questioned. He's a wish. We're here today for the Nigerian Films Corporation Annual Film Lecture with its title, Digital Ecosystem, Redefining African Cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZUMA International Film Festival is Nigeria's famous film festival held annually in Abuja. This is done in collaboration with the Federal Capital Territory Administration. And of course, the theme of this year's event is Digital Renaissance, Embracing the Future, aims to promote Nigeria's cultural and creative economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the festival features a range of activities, including film screening, master classes, and workshop, award ceremonies, among others. May I invite my co-anchor. My name is Jibril Suleiman Zakiri, PhD. They call me MC Big Boy. My co-anchor will take the next turn on the program. Thank you, please.
Thank you very much, MC Big Boy. Before we commence, let me establish protocol. The Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Honorable Ministers, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism, the Chairman, House Committee on Culture and Tourism, wife of the Governor here, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Managing Director, Nigerian Film Corporation, Director General, CEOs of agencies and parastatals here, invited guests, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to ZUMA Film Festival 2024. Let me introduce the presence of our special guest here this morning. We have here with us our own mother, Her Excellency, the wife of the First Lady of Kwara State, Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdurazak, the First Lady of Kwara State and Chairperson, Nigerian Governors' Wives Forum. Please, a round of applause for Her Excellency. We have also our own host today, our leader and big sister, Barrister Anatu Musawa, the Honorable Minister of Culture, Tourism, and Creative Art. Please, a round of applause for her. Also here is the Honorable Minister of State, FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmoud, ably represented by Honorable Helen Zamani. Please, a round of applause for Honorable Helen Zamani. Your Excellency, we have here with us this morning also our own host, also the MD of NFC, Dr. Ali Nuhu. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Ali Nuhu. Your Excellency, here with us also this morning is the Director General, NCAC, Obi Asika. Please, a round of applause for Obi Asika. Your Excellency, also here with us is the Director General of NIDA, Kashifu Inua Abdullahi. Please, a round of applause for the DG NIDA. We have here also with us this morning, Your Excellency, Malam Jibrin Baba Ndashe, MNI IPR, the Director General, Voice of Nigeria. Please, a round of applause for him. Your Excellency, with us here this morning also is the Director General, Bureau of Public Enterprise, and he's being represented by the Director in charge of Industry and Services, Toyidin Oduni. Please, Toyidin Oduni over there. Your Excellency, we have all the way from Jamaica, the Vice President, Export Jamaica, LinkedIn Sonja. She's over there. Your Excellency, Also from Jamaica is the Commissioner of Films from Jamaica, Jackie Jackson. A round of applause for her. Also here with us this morning is Alo Paistik, the representative of DAD, German Nigeria Cooperation Project. Thank you. You are welcome. Your Excellency, we have a member of the jury of the ZUMA Film Festival International this year, Hakim Kazim. Please, a round of applause for him. Your Excellency, we have a filmmaker here also in the person of Charles Novia. Please, a round of applause for Charles Novia. Moving forward, Your Excellency, I will call my brother. We'll be introducing other guests, but we'll move forward because of the speed that we want to achieve this morning, Your Excellency. Let me invite Jibrin for the next.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, very quickly inviting for the welcome remarks. The personality is, of course, certified and qualified in all wise and respect, possessing all the necessary paraphernalia needed in thereof, be having the precedence and antecedent, the experience, the pedigree, and what it tells to be in this film industry. And I must say, the first to be so appointed, a stakeholder in this field by His Excellency, the President of the Federation, President Bola Tinubu, Sasul, appointed this personality as the Managing Director of this cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing upstage and down to the rostrum, the Managing Director, CEO, Nigerian Films Cooperation, Dr. Ali Nuhu. Let's give him, please, a round of applause. Thank you, please.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy, Barrister Anatu Musa Musawa, the First Lady of Kwara State, Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdul Razak, the Minister of State to the FCTA, represented by Honorable Helen Zamani, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of agencies, and all representatives. Distinguished guests, esteemed filmmakers, industry stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Nigerian Film Corporation's Annual Film Lecture 2024. Thank you for joining us in this significant discourse, for engaging in the activities of ZUMA International Film Festival. Today, we are gathered to explore the theme, Cinematic Ecosystems, Redefining African Cinema. This is a vital opportunity to discuss how we can reshape the landscape of African cinema by fostering sustainable, innovative, and inclusive environments that empower filmmakers and captivate audiences. As the Managing Director of the Nigerian Film Corporation, I'm very optimistic about the future of our industry. Our discussions today are not just about identifying challenges, but about embracing opportunities for collaboration, technological advancements, and talent development. We are honored to have amongst us some of the brightest minds and influential voices in cinema. Your participation and insights are invaluable as we chart a new course for African cinema, one that honors our rich heritage while propelling us into a dynamic future. I extend my deepest gratitude to our partners, sponsors, and all participants who have made this event possible. Your support is the backbone of our continuous growth and innovation. I would end my address by sharing one quote. Cinema is just not an art form. It is the mirror through which we see ourselves and the window through which the world sees us. Let us create reflections that inspire and windows that open minds. Thank you and welcome to what promises to be an enlightening and inspiring session.
Well, thank you very much. Let's give him, please, another warm round of applause, please. We call him Dr. Ali Nuhu, being a graduate of geography, toppling with a master's, and of course, PhD honoris causa. Sir, congratulations once again. Before I go to the next thing, permit me to announce in our midst, Ahmed Sodengi, Director General, National Gallery of Art. Sir, you're welcome, please. Equally, from the Director General, Center for Black and African Art and Civilization, Federal Minister of Art and Culture and Creative Economy, Honorable Aisha Adamu Ogi, the Director General. Ma, you're welcome, please. May I, Your Excellency, distinguished guest, straight away move to the next thing on the program menu, which is, of course, the goodwill remarks. There are personalities that are so here. And of course, the organizers deem it not only necessary, but obligatory. So I invite Ms. Alo Paistik, representative of DAAD German Nigeria Cooperation Project. Let's give him, please, a round of applause as he step up for this very important part. He is from the Goethe University, Frankfurt, Germany. Sir, you're welcome, please. Let's celebrate and have his step up, please.
Morning. Is this on? Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here to greet you all. I'm the representative of the German-Nigerian Cooperation Project, funded by the German federal government and through the Nigerian Home Corporation, the Nigerian federal government, within which we work together with the NFC to preserve together the Nigerian film history and heritage. The festival has been a great opportunity for our delegation to see powerful films like the giant of Ghanaian cinema, Ni Kwata Owo's You Hide Me, to establish new connections, like with our colleagues from the Jamaican Film Corporation Commission, and to hold high-level meetings with our partners in Nigeria. We're thankful to the Nigerian Film Corporation for organizing this unique event, and we hope that in the very near future, through our cooperation, you and the larger Nigerian public will be able to discover the wealth of Nigerian film heritage going back over half a century. Our hope is that this rich film heritage will be part of the future of Nigerian and world cinema. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Very quickly invited, ladies and gentlemen, for goodwill message, Mr. Obi Osika of the NCAC. Let's give him, please, a round of applause as he speaks for and on behalf of other Genesis and parastatals in thereof. Sir, you're welcome, please.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So thank you. Starting on existing protocols, Your Excellency, First Lady of Kwara State, Honorable Minister of Trade, of Tourism, Art, Culture, and Creative Economy, Representative of the Minister of State, FCT, my brother, Ali Nuhu, the MD, NFC, and the DGs from my sector. First of all, just to congratulate Ali on pulling this off. Those of us who have to deliver these events, we know what it takes, and certainly extremely happy to be here today. Welcome the Jamaicans and the Germans as well. Collaboration is critical to everything that we're doing. I know that the minister has been very busy over the last few weeks and months, and I think NFC is at the heart of that, with some of the film treaties and co-production agreements that will be announced in the coming days and weeks ahead. I hope everybody has a good time and gets some good work done. We're looking forward to a very, very active 2025 in this sector. Nollywood has been at the forefront of driving Nigerian soft power for the last 25 years. And even though people think that it's easy, I can assure you it's not. We have to give credit to those who have been building the foundation. I know Charles Novia is here. There's a lot of Nollywood legends that are involved in this process behind the scenes, and not just in front of the camera. And I think in the ZUMA masterclasses, in the different events over the next few days, you will dive deeper into that, and I wish you all well. All the best from the National Council for Arts and Culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And still on the goodwill messages, permit me as I invite a mother, a lady that is magnanimous and benevolent in all wise and respect. She is an ambassador, extraordinary and plenipotentiary, being an academic, holding the rank of a professor on her own CV, a married lady, and of course, the first lady there in Kwara State. Invited, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador, Professor, Mrs. Ofalaki Abdul Razak, who doubles as the chairperson, Nigerian Governors Fathers Forum. Your Excellency, Ma, you're welcome, please.
Well, thank you very much for that very wonderful introduction. I probably didn't recognize myself. Good day, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I always support the arts, and you'll hear so why in a few minutes. May I recognize the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, Barrister Hannatu Musa Musawa, the Honorable Minister of State for FCT, represented by Mrs. Zamani, Dr. Ali Nuhu, the Managing Director of Nigeria Film Corporation, Mrs. Halima Oyelade, the Festival Director, Dr. Jibril Baba Ndasi, Director General, Voice of Nigeria, the Director General of NIDDA, Mr. Obiasika, the Director General, NCAC, the Director General, BPE, our friends from Germany and Jamaica, and all the other important dignitaries here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press. It is indeed an honor and a great pleasure for me to be part of the ZUMA International Film Festival 2024 Annual Nigerian Film Corporation Lecture. I commend the management of ZUMA International Film Festival and the Federal Capital Territory Administration for choosing to bring to the fore the need to continue to promote African cinema and seek more development for the Nigerian creative space through this laudable initiative. The African film industry has no doubt gained immense recognition and influence over the years, both locally and internationally. While it might not be as yet on the same level with Hollywood and Bollywood, but we're getting there, we're almost there. The Nigerian movie industry, in particular, has carved a niche for itself with its unique storytelling, cultural diversity, and a growing number of filmmakers and actors that are doing great exploits in their respective spaces, making the continent proud. One of the factors that has contributed to this growth and reputation is the vibrant festival culture, with its ability to provide opportunity for youth and aspiring filmmakers to connect with industry professionals, fellow creators, and potential collaborators. The creative industry in Nigeria, you will agree with me, is witnessing a significant advancement in technology, transforming how content is created, produced, and distributed. Technological platforms such as Prime Video, Netflix, and social media have expanded the reach of Nigeria's creative industry. Harnessing the opportunities technology presents, however, stands to promote creativity and support talent to foster social development, leveraging on the positive disposition of the government towards the industry. Hence, I commend the propriety of this event, as the theme succinctly speaks to how evolving digital technology can be employed to fully harness the opportunities that abound in the African creative industry value chain. The future of Africa's cinema is bright and full of promise, you will agree with me. And it is in this regard that I enjoin practitioners in the industry to leverage on the kind disposition of government toward the creative and cultural sector to create content that would positively project the image of the country and promote our culture and heritage. It may interest you to know that my affinity for the arts stemmed from growing up with a father who was a playwright, an artist, and a founder of a drama and theater troupe. My father, Mr. Olufela David, founded Stagecraft when he was about 19 or 20, and he produced a lot of plays, works. I remember going all over the world with him. He was director of the Goethe Institute at one time, and we used to go around with him, Voice of America, the Massachusetts Film Institute, and so many other places promoted his plays, and I used to go and watch them on stage. So this is where my love for the arts stems from. Going forward, continued investment in talent, development, infrastructure, and regulatory support are equally essential to maximizing these opportunities. With the right strategies, Nigeria's creative space can surpass its present status and become a global powerhouse in innovation, creativity, and economic growth. I don't know if you've all heard of the Sugar Film Factory in Kwara State, and it is the now, I believe, largest studio in West Africa, and it stands as part of the efforts of government to provide support for talents and promote the creativity among our teeming youth. The Kwara State government also hosted the Best of Nollywood Awards barely a week ago in Kwara State, and we had all film industry people in Kwara State, to the delight of Kwarans. They were very excited to see everyone. This development also holds the potential to further transform cinematic experience as we have now come to know it, unlocking the immense potential of Nigeria's and Africa's creative industry, contributing to economic diversification, job creation, and the projection of Nigerian culture on the continental and global stage. In closing, technology, creativity, and talent have the power to redefine Africa and indeed Nigerian cinematic ecosystem, driving social development, creating new opportunities, and empowering our people to build a better future. Together, let us work to harness these strengths, investing in human capital, foster innovation, and create an enabling environment that supports the growth and development of technology-driven sector. In the light of this, I hope to be able to support you in all that you are doing. The Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum also, we will be hosting an event in the next couple of days, and we have a short film that we are going to unveil. I've supported the Kaduna Film Festival, and I a couple of days ago also supported Nigeria's entry and Nigeria's submission to the Oscars. So I look forward to continue supporting the creative sector. Thank you so much.
I think she deserves another warm round of applause, please. Thank you, Your Excellency, the First Lady of Kwara State and Chairperson Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum. May I, Your Excellency, distinguished guest, excuse protocols and delve into something else. With due respect, I want to invite a personality whose agency is very, very instrumental to what we are doing today. In today's world, when we talk about digital economy and whatever, is something so good, so very, very nice. I would wish to invite from the National Information Technology Development Agency a personality that is, of course, a critical stakeholder in thereof. Ladies and gentlemen, inviting the Director General, Kashifu Inua Abdullahi, has this give us on occasion. Let's give him, please, a round of applause, please. Welcome, DG.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the First Lady of Kwara State, the Honorable Minister of Art, Culture, and Creative Economy, our host, the MD, Nigerian Film Corporation, other CEOs here present, distinguished guests, good morning. In a world where digital is a lifestyle, we cannot talk about creative economy, entertainment without digital technology. Digital power everything we do. And Nigeria as a country, our greatest resource is our human capital. And today, if we can harness the power of entertainment and creative economy, Nigeria, we can achieve a lot. And digital will help us to elevate that status. Today, we have a Nigerian who reached millions of streams on a Spotify on the first day of release. Imagine that platform is a Nigerian platform. Imagine the kind of wealth and prosperity we can create in our country. Because based on the internet traffic, in the transatlantic traffic, where Nigeria is part of it, more than 85% of our internet traffic is on content consumption. Content we create in Nigeria, we put on social media, but we travel all the way to cross Atlantic to consume that content. So imagine localizing and domesticating that content in Nigeria, the kind of prosperity we can create in our country. So at NIDA, this is the work we do, and in collaboration with the Ministry of Creative Economy, we can achieve a lot. We are working on promoting our national cloud sovereignty, where we own and control our data. Today, we don't have data sovereignty, we don't have our operational sovereignty, and we don't have our digital sovereignty because our data sit with big techs on the hyperscalers. They decide what we see, what we consume, and what we believe. And whoever owns your data controls you. So at NIDA, at our ministry, we are working on enacting a regulatory framework that will enforce data localization. Doing that will help you also. As a content creator, to create your content in Nigeria, host it in Nigeria, and stream it in Nigeria. Most of you don't control who view your content, and you can make money from every stream. So we are ready to partner with you, and we have started with this ZUMA festival. We are partnering with the Nigerian Film Corporation, and we will extend that partnership. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you very much, sir. May I, ladies and gentlemen, request that inform you that in here, we have a panel of jury. They are from Nigeria and even beyond, that is nationally and internationally. These are personalities that are not only qualified, but they are certified in this field. Now, as we know, there will be a film award presentation on Thursday by 6 p.m. at the Chido Hotel here at the heart of the capital city. As you are so invited, and we request the indulgence of all the jury members to please rise up as we give them a resounding applause for that Herculean task they are performing for us in here, please. We thank you most sincerely for that gesture shown to Nigeria and to Nigerian Films Corporation. Thank you for that gesture. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, permit me, as I invite a very, very critical personality. I'm talking about the representative of the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Mrs. Helen Zamani. May I request your indulgence? You step up as you so present your goodwill message. Let's celebrate our please. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Our mommy, the Ambassador, Professor Olufunke Abdurazak, the First Lady of Kwara State, Barrister Ambassador Natu Musa, the Honorable Minister of Arts and Culture, Tourism and Creativity Economy, the MD, Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Alinu, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I'm standing in for the Honorable Minister of State, and this is her message to you. The Honorable Minister of State, FCT, is thrilled to welcome you all to this year's annual film lecture with the theme Cinematic Ecosystem, Redefining African Cinema, which highlights the importance of collaboration and innovation in shaping our rich storytelling traditions, So let's explore new narratives, embrace diversity, and inspire future generations of filmmakers. She advocates for policies that will empower the filmmakers and platform to showcase their talents, and also community that celebrates their creative minds. She also hopes that the future of Nigerian, African, and cinema in general will be bright. She also assured you of more collaborations between FCT and Nigerian Film Corporation to make it better in line with the New Hope agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for the FCT Minister once again. Your Excellencies, we have here representing Lagos State Government, Mrs. Adebukola Agbami Noja, Executive Secretary, Lagos State Film and Video Censors Board. You are welcome, representing Lagos State. Your Excellency, moving forward, we will be inviting for the special remark the representative of the the Vice President, the Honorable Minister. She is a special guest here and representing the Vice President also. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce an accomplished leader and passionate advocate for culture and tourism in Nigeria, Honorable Minister of Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Barrister Anatu Musa Musawa, for her remarks. Please, a round of applause for the Honorable Minister representing the Vice President.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please sit. Your Excellency, Professor Ambassador Olufolake Abdulrazak, wife of the Executive Governor of Kwara State, my sister, my friend, someone who has inspired me for so long, and someone who is a beacon of leadership and support, not only for the creative industry, but for her state and for Nigeria. Representative of FCT State Minister, Honorable Helen Zamani, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Managing Director of the NFC, Dr. Ali Nuhu, who I often say is the Nigerian Brad Pitt, but recently I've changed it. And now I say that Brad Pitt would want to be the American Ali Nuhu. CEO of NCAC, Dr. Obiasika, CEO of CBAC, my darling, darling sister, Aisha, CEO of National Gallery of Art, Mr. Ahmed Sodangi, heads of various agencies here today, DG of NITDA, Mr. Kashifu, representative of the DG of the Voice of Nigeria, Mr. Jibrin Baba, who also has been my brother for quite a long time. There's a lot of brothers and sisters here in the room today. Founder of CADFEST, Mr. Kashim Israel, representative of the German-Nigerian Cooperation Project, of course, members of Jamaica, who I'm absolutely obsessed with, anything Jamaican. I'm absolutely there, and thank you for the support that you're giving us. Mrs. Halima Oyewale, the festival director, and of course, I have to mention Mr. Hakim K. Kazim, an actor, a man who people like me have looked at from a distance, and you have been a beacon of light, not only for members of the industry, but a huge beacon for Nigerians, for Africans. Thank you for what you have done for Nigeria and the inspiration that you've given us. Recently, the president called me into his office and showed me a video, and it was a spoken word that was written by the sister of our DG, Obiasika, and she wrote the spoken word. It was actually performed by Mr. Hakim here. And the president said to me, Hannatu, I really, really like this. It really gives me a true sense of what it is to be a Nigerian. What can we do with this? And I said to him that I will take that spoken word and see if I can sort of transform it into a poem that would really capture something special about being a Nigerian. So thank you for the delivery of that, because I do believe, in conjunction with the brilliant piece that Mrs. Asika wrote, your delivery of it was what really, really gave it life. And that has been able to be extended into a huge project that I would love to speak to you about, that would really reposition Nigeria on the global stage. So thank you for your support and for being here. And of course, the representative representing Lagos State. When you talk about the creative industry, you cannot go anywhere without talking about Lagos State. So thank you for being here. Distinguished guests, heads of international, federal and state agencies, creative filmmakers, stakeholders, the organized private sector, members of the Nigerian press, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and good morning. I'm here today wearing two hats, but the most important hat is representing His Excellency Distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I'll be delivering a lecture on his behalf. As a nation and government, determined to harness all opportunities for the growth of Nigeria's creative industry through key policy and institutional frameworks, we should see this gathering as one of such opportunities to energize a collective aspiration. Nigeria has and will continue to leverage on the strength and capabilities of the film sector to drive its developmental policies and growth initiatives. Let me therefore commend the Ministry of Art, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy and the heads of agencies here today under the ministry for the impactful policy and developmental initiatives that are being undertaken to strengthen the offering of the creative sector for the direct and indirect investment inflow as we patiently and proudly savor the positive impacts of our economy as emerging with a show of greater and wider, better results going forward. And I truly do believe that the reason why the ministry is going to make a lot of impact is because we have been able to get the input of members in the industry. Most of the people who populate the agencies are people that are called directly from the industry. So thank you for doing what you do. The African film industry, cinema especially, is experiencing digital revolution, consequently transforming the way contents are created, distributed, and consumed. With the evolution of digital platforms, Africa's rich cinematic history is evolving to meet the demands of a new generation. These demands bestow on African governments, including Nigeria, the burden of taking advantage of digital solutions in trying to revolutionize cinema across the continent. This lecture will thus highlight briefly on some key concepts and explore the nexus of digital ecosystems in redefining African cinema. A major policy framework of our administration is to positively signpost Nigeria's cinema as a continental flagship for creative economy growth through well-guided development and implementable institutional enhancements. Others are through international funding sources, infrastructure, partnership, and investment opportunities with the digital subsector with the global economy. And my ministry is being very intentional in coming up with initiatives that are really going to speak to this. And we are working pari passu with the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, as my brother would know, to ensure that we give the digital tools that are necessary for us to have the kind of economic expansion, cultural expansion, and job creation that this government is really committed to, especially for a younger demographic, which are more inclined to really find a place in the creative economy. Speaking of digital ecosystems, in trying to align our efforts in addressing the concerns of this lecture, it is quite important that we understand what a digital ecosystem is. Experts with a view on the concepts are all similar. They all speak of similar concepts. Many since the establishment of the first digital ecosystem at the turn of the 20th century by the British scientist Dr. Alexander Bell, the inventor of both the telephone and the fax machine. When you talk about the telephone and fax machine, it seems so outdated and obsolete now. But look at how far we have come with digital evolution. Digital ecosystems as a combination of technologies that allow one to access information in real time. With its success over the years, digital ecosystems have grown greatly, driving innovations, transformation, growth, and development. As a complex network of people, businesses, and systems that use technology to interact with one another, digital ecosystems are significantly different in traditional businesses' ecosystem because of the existence of physical layers, the devices, the information layers, the data, and the application layers, the apps, for effective communication and content delivery. The future of digital ecosystem is inspiringly bright, it really is. As technology becomes even more integrated, digital ecosystems will become more and more integrated. Equally, as evolution of technologies progress, so will the growth of digital ecosystem, given its benefits, which includes faster adoption of technologies with sources of revenue, the creation of new products, contents, and service delivery with increased value. Now, how do we protect this digital ecosystem that is very vital and germane for the future of the creative industry and for the future of African and Nigerian cinema? Now, given the decisions and definitions related to digital technologies and the changes triggered by their massive evolution, experts have agreed with the need for the emplacement and framework of to enhance their efficiency and their service delivery. The engendering of convenient and value feature-rich experiences with integrated products, contents, and services provided by digital ecosystem. This makes it more imperative for government to exercise enhancement control, and this is something we as an administration are working very hard at. Nigeria's film industry has an extremely unique digital transformation opportunity here, given the huge national, regional, and continental digital ecosystems. This government has since realized is implementing various programs, project initiatives, including domestic and offshore engagement. This is being undertaken by the relevant ministries and agencies as we speak. Now, the important and interesting part, the magical world of African cinema. And of course, when we talk about African cinema, I'm gonna need us to know we're talking about Nigerian cinema, right? So, African cinema, Nigerian cinema has found itself in a very transformative phase with increased international recognition, diverse storytelling and integration of cutting-edge technologies. Limited infrastructure, funding distribution, and exhibition barriers are still a hindrance to its growth. National, regional, and continental efforts being escalated through collaborative partnership and digital platforms, infrastructure, and other providers towards the sustainable push-ups of the unique storytelling narratives of the African continent are still very much achievable. This perhaps provides the reason for this conversation one more time at this film lecture series. I understand that we are the second largest film industry in the world. But you know, being the second largest film industry almost to me is just a lot of rhetoric because, you know, we don't need to focus on the quantity. I think what we really need to focus on is the quality. It's not about us churning out movie after movie. We need to compete with the best in the world, with our numbers. And as you, Mr. Hakim, spoke about, us being 1 out of every 5 African is a Nigerian, 1 out of every 8 black person in the world is of Nigerian descent. You know, we need to realize the power in that. What that means is that there's a whole lot of Nigerians all over the continent or all over the world that are interested in our content. And the way that we can really transform or transfer that content onto a global community is through the arts, is through our music, and is through our films. You see, the music industry is doing an astronomical job because those that exist in the industry organically are doing the business for us out there and able to express who we are as a people. But the film industry needs to do better. So we, as a ministry, and the first of its kind, I might say, need to come up with the right strategy in place with the right initiatives that will give the platform for this industry to compete with the South Koreans, with the Americans, with anyone. Why? Because we're Nigerians, and when we speak to the world. It is my fervent belief that we hold onto the promises of the offerings of the Nigerian and African cinema to the growth of our countries, given the success being recorded by our filmmakers in their ability to produce and distribute their films globally. These successes driven by digital transformation are encouraging richer and more diverse cinematic narratives. Indeed, the spirit of innovation mixed with adaptability to evolving technologies have made it possible for us to change the way we think or do things. This fact has continued to resonate in conversation and narratives among notable African filmmakers, including the legendary Senegalese filmmaker Ousmane Sembène, who, among others, has canvassed the use of digital transformation to tell our stories. We need to tell our stories, but if we want to tell our stories, we need to do it in the right way, authentically, raw, unique from our perspective, but we need to do it in a way that will also transfer to a global community, so that when we talk through the art of film, we are not a caricature. We stand with pride because we are Nigerian. African cinema, made more popular through digital transformation and helped by Nigeria's Nollywood, continues to soar despite few challenges, actually, despite many challenges, which have earlier been highlighted. The journey has thus been shaped by the participations and contribution of public and private partners, driven by a unified passion in achieving the same goals, especially the mobilization of providers, investors in digital transformation with the ultimate purpose of empowering present and future Nigerian and African filmmakers and content creators. The annual Creative African Nexus program and intra-African trade fair, CANEX and IATF, which we were at recently in Algeria, convened by the Afrexim Bank in collaboration with various Africa government, African Union Commission, and African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat have and continues to provide opportunities for Africa and global business experts, funders, and investment organizers, other African governmental and regional film commission offices, film content production businesses, film infrastructure, development organization, and brands from across Africa and the diaspora to draw global attention to Africa as the largest creative hub and investment destination with massive transformation digital ecosystems. Nigeria's creative and entertainment industry has been characterized by intensive localized engagements, celebrity endorsement, innovative campaigns, upscaled premieres, and amalgamation of effective and strategic distribution engagements, the emergence of OTT platforms and their tremendous contributions to audience reach and market penetration has accounted for the state of returns of produced movies. We therefore must sustain the exploitation of OTT distribution platforms as a means of upscaling more audience reach and access through viewing by a ubiquitous audience for a combined objective to provide enormous revenue stream and return our investments for the sector. The capabilities of the OTT distribution channels and platforms require more investment and players to match the increasing contents being created given their strengths. The less than 100 standard theatres in Nigeria is grossly inadequate. By the end of year 2022, it has reduced to 81, with most of them located in Lagos and invariably grossly unable to service the over 100 million Nigerians. With improved storytelling and technology, improved Nigerian audiovisual content, mostly in production of distant cultural heritage, African citizens' yearnings for their contents can, through sustainable digital transformative models, be addressed. And I can assure you, when we talk about the infrastructure, my ministry, together with agencies, are working very hard to make certain announcements very soon about how we are going to expand this infrastructure. Cinemas. I mean, when we were young, or rather when I was young, maybe not everybody here in the room, we had cinemas in all the rural areas. In my village, there were cinemas. We used to go to cinemas all the time. When we talk about the impact that the creative industry, the film industry, can have in expanding the GDP, it can be done through cinemas alone. But it cannot be done when you do not give them the tools to be able to do that. So infrastructure is missing. My ministry is going to try to expand this infrastructure of the cinema. So in the first place, every single state is supposed to have a number of cinemas, and we're working hand in hand with NFC to be able to do that. And this will also encourage the young generation to know, and not only the young generation in every rural areas, to know that there's a huge real estate in the movie industry, and encourage them to go into that as well. We therefore have seen the emergence, and strongly too, alternative distribution models such as crowdfunding. Online film festivals have equally emerged, just as strong innovative storytelling formats like web series and virtual reality are gaining traction, including the gravitation of symbiotic co-production collaborations and partnerships that are fostering growth and development, are becoming dominant at the international creative ecosystem engagements. And my ministry has signed a number of MOUs with a number of very, very exciting different countries, which we will announce very soon, co-production agreements. And I think it will really boost and open up the conversation when it comes to co-production and cinema. Digital ecosystem opportunities and challenges. The challenges in the digital ecosystem present are as follows. Increase accessibility and reach, which we can do, I think, through increased infrastructure and, of course, online distribution, diversification of film content and different genres. We are a beautiful country of a kaleidoscope of like 240 different languages, traditions, which is really what makes, people ask, what makes Nigeria so unique? And honestly, it's because of our diversity. That diversity that we have, that expression of difference. In Nigeria, you can find Europe, you can find Asia, you can find the Middle East, everything within this small geographical space. And this is why when we express ourselves, we do it in such a unique and different way that is able to touch everyone all over the world, whether they are of Nigerian descent or not. So we need to make sure that we give the platform for the expression of all these diverse, beautiful cultures. And that is what is going to make us unify ourselves, because that is where our strength is, and that is where we need to hold our head up high and strong. And of course, new revenue streams. It is important for us to bring new revenue streams because Nigeria, not only Nigeria, the global community is struggling economically. And one way that we can really reach people in Nigeria that are looking for jobs is through this creative industry. And I say, not every Nigerian has access to work in an oil company. Not every Nigerian has access to go to an Ivy League. Not every Nigerian can work in the best law firm in the world. But every Nigerian has the ability to create content in the privacy of their little community. And I think through film, we'll be able to encourage every Nigerian to find a way to empower themselves. And by empowering themselves, it will empower the nation as a whole. And of course, digital ecosystem presents another flow of challenges, piracy and copyright infringement. And I'm very proud to say that the ministry has finished putting up an IP structure. It took us a while, but we are there because we had to do a very holistic and really broad stakeholder engagement to ensure that we come up with IP. The fact that there was no robust IP intellectual property structure was a crying shame. So we have, as a ministry, have done that, and the document is ready for presentation at the next Federal Executive Council. And I think that will go a long way in given the securitization that is necessary for the growth of the film industry. And of course, quality control, censorship, classification, digital drive, and infrastructure limitations. These are all some of the things that we're working towards. You'll be glad to know that I'm about to conclude, okay? It is a lecture. So in conclusion, Digital, especially transformative ecosystems, are a fundamental reality in our world today, where good content is not and cannot just be storytelling, but one's ability to tell the story well. Like Charles Darwin said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And guess what? That is a Nigerian. African cinema, with Nigeria's film industry, which Nigeria's film industry belongs, has found itself within a transformational digital landscape. There is no doubt whatsoever that digital ecosystems have and are redefining African cinema, offering new opportunities for storytelling, distribution, exhibition, and audience engagement. In embracing this innovative film industry, stakeholders must adapt to this landscape that has emerged and indicates probable need and it anticipates, I think, further adaptability, going by improvised digital ecosystem and technological advancement. And finally, through digital platforms, African filmmakers and other content creators are able to seamlessly reach out to global audiences, a rare advantage of driving economic growth and fostering cultural exchange. As Africa and indeed Nigeria continues to embrace the digital transformation, the future from our present can be better imagined. And as we continue to go on this very exciting journey to the future together, I want to leave in a way that was inspired by Mr. Kazim and Ms. Asika, by saying through cinema, through the magic of cinema, and through just the brilliance of who we are as a people, I want you to always remember that you are a Nigerian, you are humane, and you are a giant to reign. Thank you.
Please. A standing ovation for the Vice President there. A round of applause for the Vice President. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now, while they are setting the stage for the next phase of the event, Your Excellency, permit me to introduce some very distinguished guests in our midst this wonderful day. Your Excellency, we have here with us this afternoon Dr. Ahmad Sarari, MD, Kannywood. Please a round of applause for him. Thank you, Your Excellency. Also with us here this morning is Professor Rajan Das from India. You are welcome, Professor Rajan Das. Please a round of applause for Professor Rajan Das. Your Excellency, we have here with us Kenneth Gyang. Kenneth Gyang is one of the pioneers in cinema Patapata. Please a round of applause for Kenneth Gyang. We have Waziri Zianu here also with us this evening. You are welcome. Your Excellency, on behalf of the FCT Fire Service, they are represented here by Engineer Adebayo Zak, the controller, FCT Fire Service, and the team. You are welcome, FCT Fire Service. Your Excellency, also here with us this morning is Lady Florence Wenegeme. She is the former Acting Director General, FCT Emergency Management Agency. You are welcome, Lady Florence. Your Excellency, with us here also is the Director, Reform Coordination and Service Improvement, and her team of effective officers, Dr. Jumai Amadou from FCT Director Reforms. You are welcome, and the team from that directorate, we welcome you. Your Excellency, also here with us is Ishak Sidi Ishak. Please a round of applause for him. We also have with us here Marcus Roof. Please, Mr. Marcus Roof, you are welcome. Thank you. A round of applause for him. Thank you. Thank you. You are welcome. So moving forward, let me invite my Brother Jibrin, MC Big Boy, for the continuation of the event.
Oh. Well, equally, Waziri Zayana, a veteran in the field, so retired but not tired, from the NTA. And I want to authoritatively tell the House that this program is broadcast live on the network service of the NTA. So as you are here, it is Misu Lamido Ian Tama, MD, CEO Ian Tama Multimedia is not forgotten, please. Sir, you're welcome. Many personalities are here, and I think we are set. Are we set? Make away. Okay. I will wish, ladies and gentlemen, to invite personalities that will so discuss the paper so presented by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on digital ecosystem, redefining Africa's cinema. And I will wish to invite on stage the moderator of this final session, who will so pontificate and elucidate the paper further. May I invite Dr. Victor Ohai, who is moderating the session, please. Let's celebrate him, give him a round of applause. Equally, I want to invite Ahmed Sarari, Dr. Ahmed Sarari, please to step up. Let's give him a round of applause, please. The Director General of NIDSA here, represented by Dr. Aristotle Onomo, please, to join us on the high table, please. Dr. Aristotle from NIDA, as you so represent your Director General, please. Thank you. I want to invite equally Dr. Eloka Chuks from BPE, please. Sir, you're welcome. And without much ado, I want to respectfully submit the House to the moderator, Dr. Victor Okai. Sir.
Thank you very much. The Vice President, ably represented by the Honorable Minister, Her Excellency, the wife of the Governor of Kwara State, and the MD of the Nigerian Film Corporation, and permit me to stand on all other protocols. Before attempting the review of the paper, I would like for us to please recognize and acknowledge the foundation for what we're doing today, the Nigerian filmmakers, the least recognized at every major event. Please stand up and please give a rounding applause to the Nigerian filmmakers who have made what we're celebrating today possible. Please sit down. I say so because even in the order of protocol, the filmmakers have been the last to be acknowledged in this hall today. I want to say going forward, please, we need to correct this. It is important. A foundation of a story building may not be seen, but without the foundation, no matter how beautiful the house is, there will be no building. Thank you for acknowledging them. It's a very interesting paper, very rich, and I think it has set forward an agenda for a discourse not only for this place, but going forward. It clearly shows the direction that the government is headed. There is, the speaker had talked about the triple layer of devices, data, devices, the triple layers of data, devices, and apps. And if you look at what's happening today, on your very palm top, there is a convergence of media. All three are here now, no longer far away from you. And I would usually say that no one has an excuse, like the speaker has said, not to make money anymore. Because with this device, you can write your story, you can shoot, you can edit, you can do your post-production, you can distribute, and you can collect your money without going out of this device. Am I correct? Right? So we have absolutely no excuse. And the democratization of this particular technology has now created a level playing field. And it's the reason why you can get an influencer or a YouTuber, make a video here, and across the world, they become very popular, and everyone knows them. And it's also the reason why Nollywood movies, because there are no longer physical barriers, not even custom barriers anymore. You know, you can make a movie from here, and it can be seen in Southeast Asia, it can be seen anywhere in the world. And that has now given us a level playing field. There was also a talk about the control of digital assets. Now, this is very, very important because right now, we can be fed anything. The same way we can also feed others. There is some sort of, and let me look at the positive side. There is some sort of cultural neo-colonization right now across the world, of Nollywood movies to the rest of the world. Why do I say so? In the past, we used to consume a lot of Hollywood movies, and then you hear people who've never been to America begin to talk about one Agona men, excuse my English. They dress like Americans, want to look like Americans, and you know, the influence is so strong, you know. But today, the reverse is the case. With our Nollywood movies, you go somewhere, someone says Igwe. I know South Africans, and I kid you not, who have never stepped on Nigerian soil and yet speak perfect pidgin English, courtesy of our movies. I also know situations where we have been able to, I mean, I've seen this happen where I'm in another African country, we're watching a Nigerian movie, and then someone comes and says, stop, and I'm wondering why. And what do you say? Say, that dress, exactly that dress. I didn't know the person sitting there was a tailor. And what do they want? They see that fashion, and then, I mean the dress, and then they want an exact replica. So what we have been able to do is we are beginning to influence the world with our stories. We're influencing the world with our culture and tradition. We're influencing the world with our language. Now this is something that is taking place. But more importantly, as we do what we do, there is a need to also protect it, protect ourselves from outside influences, but also protect our IP as well from being abused. And then there was also talk about, of course, the growth of Nigerian cinema and its successes, and then the challenges that we're having, which is also related to what I just talked about. And then there was a transition, they talked about a transition from quantity to quality, and I really like that. We have transited from being just known as number 2. If we go to Netflix today, as an example, for instance, our movies, many have risen to number 1, not only in Nigeria, but across several territories in the world, which therefore means that on the global stage, we're beginning to hold our own. But there is a need to do more. And this is where, like what happened in South Korea, where the government is backing the industry massively, K-pop and the K-entertainment industry has become massive globally. I believe that with government support, that and even greater will be our lot, because the new oil is, the creative economy. And for the first time, government has shown a purposefulness in creating a special ministry for the creative economy. And fortunately, we have the right drivers in the seat, and a lot of things are happening. Thank you very much, our Honorable Minister. Put our hands together. Put your hands together for her, please. She also, representing the VP, also talked about what our music industry is doing and how there's a need to be able to translate that to the movie industry as well. And frankly, what Afrobeats has done for us, Nollywood started first in making that wave, but there is a need for the two to be at par for us to say that truly we have arrived. And so we need to have a deliberate strategy to be able to do that. She talked about infrastructure expansion as well, cinemas, because one of the biggest problems we have is distribution. You may have all the products, but if there's no platform for distribution, then obviously you can't go back to make some more, because there's a need to distribute them, make money, and go back again and again and again. And so I'm hoping that there will be deliberate policies that will ensure not only protection for us, like what the South Koreans did. I keep making reference to that because there's a success story as well, where, and that policy still subsists, where they insist that every screen, and I'm not saying every cinema, must dedicate at least 73 days for the promotion of Korean films. Now, that might look like, okay, in the years, it might not seem like much, but if we start and make that a deliberate policy, then there's a guarantee that our local movies will have screen time and that our distributors will not concentrate on putting only Hollywood movies or movies that they think will make money for them. There will also be an opportunity for local filmmakers to also be able to showcase what they have and also make some money. So we're talking about infrastructural expansion and not just physical infrastructure. There's a need to look at digital infrastructure as well, seeing how we can create opportunities, whether by way of loans, whatever it is, to help us develop our own local Netflix, for example, to help us in distributing our films, not just locally, but globally. Then there's the issue of co-production opportunities, and Madam, permit me to say here, we have many co-production treaties that are ongoing, but a lot of them have not been signed. And so there's a need to hasten that. And I want to please plead, most times when the government people are going to negotiate, the filmmakers are not carried along. I want to make that report to you personally. It is wrong. When they go to Cannes, they don't take us along. And I'm wondering, what is government discussing with filmmakers there if the real filmmakers are not in the delegation? You know? So when we're talking treaty, we're the ones wearing the shoes. We know where it pinches. You cannot diagnose a problem as a doctor without asking me questions. I have to be there to tell you where it's pinching me. You've done very well, but please be deliberate about this and carry industry players along so that when you bring your solutions, there will be workable solutions. Thank you very much. I know you listen, and that's why I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to speak to this paper, and I know you will do something about it. Thank you. Then there's, I'll be concluding. I'm just trying to review the paper. The issue of digital infrastructure was also addressed. I think I've treated it partially in a way, but we need to break barriers. We need to be more deliberate and take advantage of that particular medium. Then the issue of no revenue streams. I want to say, and permit me to say this, I'm glad that this was in the paper. The issue of the lowest hanging fruit for employment generation, let me speak about Nigeria, is the film industry. Entry barrier is very low. You only need your talent. All you need is your birthday suit, what you came with when you came into this world. Every other thing, Agbada and the rest, are just, yes, they are just the things that you need, like in a normal movie. That Agbada, that dress you wear is part of your costume, but the talent is ingrained in us. As Nigerians, we are, for women, you say drama queens, you know, but we as Nigerians are drama kings and queens. Okay, so I know, we'll do that. Okay. So let us do whatever we can to encourage as many people as possible. Fortunately, you can do films in any language, so you don't even have to speak the best English, to be able to do it. Just your talent. And let's encourage people. There are people on YouTube today who were in Killer the other day. We saw somebody who walked in looking like a nobody, only to discover that he was making a monthly income of about 71 million on YouTube. How's that for, how else could he have made it if not for an industry like this? Okay? So this is something that we need to have a deliberate policy of encouraging amongst our people. Well, we went into the challenges, obviously, of piracy and copyright, and thank you for the IP, the robust IP policy that we'll hear about, and permit me to inform the House that very soon, as the Minister has said, if you didn't hear properly, your IP will soon become a collateral. No, I will invite, okay, you will invite him to come, so I can continue.
Please, inviting one of the panelists.
Sani Muazu.
Mr. Sani Muazu.
Sani Muazu, please come forward.
Graduate of Mass Communication. You're welcome, and a veteran in the film industry. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, we're on over. So thank you. In concluding the paper, I want to announce you, in case you didn't hear properly, very soon, your IP, your intellectual property, will soon become a collateral for getting loans in the bank. Can we put our hands together for our Honorable Minister? So, she concluded by saying that, we are adaptable to change, innovation, and we're driving economic and cultural transformation through what we're doing. And I think that now that the government has given us a ministry of our own, where we can express ourselves, the sky can only be a springboard for us. Thank you very much for the beautiful paper. To discuss the paper with me are Ahmed Serari, a filmmaker, a big filmmaker from Kannywood. Dr. Ahmed Serari, you're welcome.
Thank you.
To also discuss the paper with me will be the DG of NIDA's representative, Dr. Aristotle Onumo. Is that correct? All right, thank you very much. And there's Elux Chooks of the Bureau for Public Enterprises. Is he here? No. He's not? Okay. And I'd like to welcome our big brother and friend, Alhaji Sani Muazu. You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. To start with, I would like to ask Alhaji Serari what his thoughts generally about the speech and basically just some of what you think, what hope you think the speech has for us as filmmakers.
Thank you, Dr. Victor. The Honorable Minister, First Lady of Kwara State, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Actually, you have done just to the summary of the entire paper. The paper is a sort of inspiring and reminding us of the challenges ahead, and it gives us a focus of where we are heading to. This is what I understand out of the paper. You have already summarized everything. I don't want to repeat what you have said, but I would like to talk on 3 basic areas on the paper that I think are very big challenges for the entire industry. One is distribution. The Honorable Minister has spoken on the proliferation of cinemas, big and local cinemas around. This is what we have been asking for, what we have been yearning for, especially small and local cinema, which National Film Video Center used to call like local government level cinemas. We need to have, but how can we have them? There must be a very possible access to funds for you to have those cinemas everywhere. That's one. Because as we know, distribution drives content. Without distribution, without source of our content, we cannot be able to be producing more. If we look at the pyramid of the distribution film industry, only the peak, few, about 1% or 2%, people like my brother, they are Apollo, they are here. These are the people only making money out of distribution in the industry. About 90 or 85% of the people in the industry now are making their money out of YouTube. There's a need. I want to ask the Honorable Minister to have a local national platform, streaming platform, for the bulk of the filmmakers in the industry. Because now the only goal is either YouTube, Netflix, or Prime. They are not forthcoming. Everybody's on YouTube. Only the big guys are making use of the Netflix. Netflix is doing them. So distribution is very important. The other area which I would like to call the attention of the Honorable Minister is access to funds, which is very important. Access to funds. Some of the conditions for the filmmakers, especially from the region I come with, are very much stringent. So I think the ministry, in collaboration with the necessary parastatals, should look at it and soften the stringent terms for accessing funds for the filmmakers, especially the upcoming filmmakers in Nigeria. Finally, I would like to call, I'm very happy that DG NIDA has spoken on the issue of data collection. Without having, I think NIDA need to do more, need to collaborate more with the film industry, especially Nigerian Film Corporation or National Film Industry, so that we can have accurate data of what we do in Nollywood, especially in the Kanu sector. NIDA needs to come in, collaborate with the filmmakers, and have adequate data for what we do. Without data, you cannot access funds from the bank. We cannot have direction of what we are doing. So I think as the guilds and the association are doing their possible best to have adequate data, I think we need government intervention for having accurate and definite data. Thank you.
Thank you very much. While we're at that, permit me to welcome two persons to join us here on the panel. Can we put our hands together as we welcome Jacqueline Jackson of the Jamaican Film Commission. And while she's coming up, can we put our hands together for Kunle Afolayan as well to join us on the panel. So thank you. Some key points you have brought there, the issue of having a national film distribution platform, access to fund and data adequacy as well, and help from the government. Now, talking about government, the representative from NIDA, you know, they say when you do, when doing business without advertising is like winking at a lady in the dark. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. I'm sure that there's quite a lot that NIDA has been doing to support this industry, but perhaps not many filmmakers may be aware. Some of us may have an idea. Can you use the opportunity to tell us the kind of how NIDA has been able to drive, or to what extent has been able to drive, if you like, the digital agenda for government and the reforms for the film industry?
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Might just stand on the existing protocol. First, I listened to the Honorable Minister spoke. When she was speaking, she just represents what a true Nigeria should be, or what a true Nigeria is. Because one thing that is very important to all of us is that you are the story you tell about yourself. There's no physical self that is existing there apart from the story you tell. So our ability to use this platform to tell the story of ourselves, whether it is in the physical or in digital platform, it is the way to go. Now, having said that, what is NIDA doing in that regard? I will say that in the digital economy itself as a whole, NIDA have been playing its role as the technology powerhouse. But I want to explain some of those things within the context of our vision. And our vision is explicit and very clear. It is to make Nigeria an IT-capable nation, fostering inclusive economic development through technological innovation. And in trying to drive this vision, we have anchored it on 8 strategic pillars. But because of time, I'll concentrate on the first pillar, which is to foster digital literacy and cultivate talent. We believe and we are convinced that if we are able to ensure that Nigerians are digitally literate, especially those who are playing a key role within the film industry, then they could also be self-sufficient without depending on a third, second party in trying to create their product, massify their product, or even export their product. That's our conviction. And because of that, we are focusing on digital literacy. And that particular component of our visions made it very clear that we are looking at by the year 2027, we should be able to ensure that 70% of Nigerians are digitally literate. Have we started doing something in that regard? Yes, we are doing something in that regard also. Now, what we have done also is to collaborate with the National Youth Service Corps to be able to train whom we refer to as the digital literacy champions. Now, these digital literacy champions are the ones that are being deployed across, we are at the pilot stage now. We have deployed them across the 12 states of the Federation in 72 local government areas. Because we are also believing that these people, they will go into the society, the corpus can go into the society and train the people who are there, especially those who are in the informal sector, to be digitally literate, to utilize their own these digital tools that they have, whether it is their computers, whether it is their phones, to be able to play their own key role within their digital economy. And our target is to ensure that we train 30 million Nigerians within the next 3 years that are in the informal sector. In the informal sector constitute majority of the people who are actually being productive and playing a key role in the entire national economy. So by the time we are able to empower ensure that 30 million Nigerians in the informal sectors are trained in the next 3 years, you can imagine what that could translate in economic terms. Think about a situation, for instance, the filmmakers themselves, although we are collaborating with the creative industry also, as training them as digital literacy champions also in that regard, so that they can become a champion that will reach to the masses and also their own community, and those who are also subscribing to them, be able to empower them, because if they are digitally literate also, they'll be able to access their content, and as they access their content, they're able to make more money within the context of that particular product that they have. We are not stopping there as well. We are also collaborating with the Ministry of Education, for instance, to ensure that our primary school, secondary school, that digital literacy is also incorporated in their curriculum. Right now, the curriculum have been redesigned and been changed a little, modified now, to incorporate digital literacy in the curriculum of primary and secondary school. Because we also believe in that through that, we should be able to ensure that our young ones, by the time they're coming out of secondary school, they are already digitally literate. And once they are digitally literate, they'll be able to play their own key role within the entire digital economy sphere. We are not stopping at that also. We are also working with the NUC, for instance, to ensure that even the GST courses that they do in universities is now being changed, and digital literacy is being introduced in that particular GST courses, so that by the time they finish, they are already certified as digital literacy champions. All we are doing is to ensure that people have digital skills to be able to play their key role within the entire digital economy sector. We are not just stopping at that also. We are looking at even the workforce. We are also having a program partnering with the Federal Civil Service nationwide also, to ensure that every workforce, those who are working in every sphere of the Nigerian civil service, are also digitally literate and digitally competent. And they become a platform not only for entrance, but also of promotions within the entire civil service community. Because we also believe that once they are digitally literate and digitally empowered, then the service delivery will be more efficient and be also much more effective. In that area, that's why we are doing a very critical area, that we are ensuring that at least Nigerians, 70% of Nigerians are digitally literate by the year 2027. We are doing much more than that. There are other programs we have, especially in the area of engendering the entire ecosystem itself, connecting people, connecting partnership, building policies, and also ensuring that the entire ecosystem itself, especially young people, have access to funds, access to their access to be creative through the implementation of the Nigerian Startup Act, for which we are also, that is domiciled in NIDA. We are ensuring that all those people who are startup are registered, that they are labeled, and they have the opportunity also to access incentives that are being provided by the federal government. In fact, a fund has been set aside also for those young people who are startup in whatever sphere. As long as they have digital content in whatever they are doing, as long as they are registered within the startup portal, and as long as they are being profiled as startup, they will have the opportunity to have incentives that the federal government is already set aside and providing for those who are playing in that industry. We are not stopping at that. There are quite a lot of other things that we are also doing, but let me just stop at that in the interim. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you heard me very clearly, it all sounds great. But remember what I said? Doing business with advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you're doing? Nobody else does. You know what I mean? And so I'm wondering, registering as a startup, for instance, we could have registered, but we are not aware. But thank God for a platform like this. You will answer one question very briefly before I move on to the next. If you're not, just let us know, and then, but if you are, what are you doing? And, just very briefly. What is NIDA doing to enhance data gathering in Nollywood? Because, data is everything. Are you making any move? And if you're not, it doesn't matter, but let it be an agenda that, you...
Now, the part of the move we are making, I think my DG spoke something about sovereign cloud. Now, by the time we are coming up with a policy on sovereign cloud and also sovereign data. Now, what that does is that it will ensure that those who are in the film industry will host their data, will host their film within for instance, if they produce film here now, especially those who are using YouTube, for instance, it has to go to transatlantic before you can now bring it back to Nigeria. So what we are trying to do now is to have a sovereign cloud, have a sovereign data, that all the hyperscalers will now have their data domiciled here in Nigeria. If you want to host your film, you have to host everything, it will be right here in Nigeria. Then having access to data becomes easy. Nobody will be controlling us from outside. We'll be controlling the data that we have within the country.
That's a good point. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On that note, please permit me to invite, his name is very powerful. In Nigeria, you hear Baba, and then you hear Agba. Baba Agba, please come. Well, I don't know where you are, but it's a senior special assistant to the president here to come on board. He's also a filmmaker. Put your hands together for him as he comes. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Yeah. All right then. I'd like to start in Wazu. You have been in this business since the year 1242 AD. Now, I don't know how much of his speech you heard. Did you listen to all of it?
No.
You didn't?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, you want to say something?
No.
So what I want to ask you is, you're wearing the shoe as a practitioner. We're looking at this in the context of the digital space, because obviously we are migrating. That's where we're all going to right now, and that is some sort of leveler and gives us some sort of advantage. I'm not necessarily saying competitive advantage because we all have equal access, but in the light of what's happening and the fact that government is really taking an interest in what is happening in the industry right now as a filmmaker, what is that pain point that you think, if government addresses, would make a significant difference and give us that competitive advantage that we need, not just in Nigeria, but globally?
Thank you very much. Let me start by apologizing profusely for coming a bit late. I flew in from Lagos this morning, and I was shocked to see that the minister that I thought was in France was ahead of me, so I must apologize. I would talk, at the risk of repeating what was said, probably in the speech of the Honorable Minister or some other people before me. But I'm extremely excited talking about digital ecosystems. You see, as a filmmaker, I have come to realize that a digital ecosystem is an interconnection between network of technologies, platforms, participants, and the ability to create, to distribute, and to consume content. And it is really exciting today seeing how platforms like Netflix, Showmax, YouTube, is empowering creatives. There's also social media out there that people are utilizing, to, pitch out their content and even make money out of it. There are production tools that are very advanced today that are being used, in the industry. But on and above all, there is also the digital payment system where content, is appreciated and paid utilizing, the digital networks. Now, all this shows that as creatives, we will look up to not just government. The fact that there is global accessibility right now, but what we need is a platform that will make this accessibility, easy, saleable, practical. The truth remains that Nollywood today, as it is reaching out to the global community. Over 190 countries are appreciating Nollywood content. Anikulapo, for instance, is one content that I kept trying to track. And the more I track Anikulapo, the more I see that Nollywood is, getting to places hitherto we wouldn't imagine we'll ever get there. Now, with all this, there is need for us to ensure that facilities that are cost-effective, that are digital, that are, high-end, are accessible to practitioners. As it is right now, the dollar is going haywire, or has gone haywire if you compare the Naira value. What can the government do to ensure that these facilities, these technological, systems that we really need, are accessible to us without, stifling the industry? The more the prices go, through the roof, the more our ability to tell our narratives, would be, limited. There is also this issue of data-driven storytelling. I am happy to hear Nitda talking about literacy, digital or technological literacy, as the case may be. I think this is one area the government, can step in. The more digitally literate we become, the better for us to utilize these platforms and exploit, from our content. Of course, piracy remains a huge threat, even, at this time that we're talking about technological safeguards in the industry. What can the government do to ensure that piracy is curtailed? We know it cannot, be wiped completely. If the US is unable to do that, we can only, reduce it to the barest minimum. we need government. Government needs to step in, seriously, and with NITDA, providing the right education, it is possible for us to control the spate of piracy within the industry. Also, digital inclusion is essential to ensure that filmmakers, especially filmmakers in the hinterland. I come from a part of this country where we can have filmmakers in every rural area. What they lack is the ability to be included in the general digital ecosystem. So digital inclusion is also very important for people like us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was another review of the paper. Apparently, you read the mind of of the VP. It was so apparently what he did was also summarize. You may not have been here, but you were here. That's what you just demonstrated.
Thank you.
And I want to say you were not late. You were rather too early for next year's edition.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. There's a point now, at this point, Jackie, yes, you're here in Nigeria. Is this your first time?
It absolutely is.
Is it your first time in Africa as well?
No, it's not.
Okay, so whatever it is, I'll say welcome home. Okay?
I know. I'm ready for my African name now, my Nigerian name.
Yes. As part of the SDGs, and generally, as you know, collaboration is key, and I'm sure you didn't just come for a tea party. You came here because of ready to collaborate, especially you're representing the Film Commission of Jamaica. And I am also aware, and you can correct me, that Nollywood movies are a major staple in your part of the world. So maybe you want to tell us how our films are received there and perhaps what kind of collaboration you hope to achieve perhaps on this trip. With our film commission here, Ali Nuhu, who is a rock star in the movie industry, if I may say. But let's know what exactly, what collaboration would mean for you, and what kind of collaboration you're looking forward to, and let us know how Nollywood is perceived, in your part of the world.
Absolutely. I want to introduce myself again. I'm Jackie Jackson. I'm the Film Commissioner for Jamaica. My role is the investment in and the export of the creative industries. I have dual role as well. I'm the manager for film, animation, and music department. The ministry in which or Jamaica Promotion Corporation sits is Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce. I would also like to acknowledge the Vice President of Export, who is here, Sonia Linton. She's waving, she's probably videoing. And I really want to start by saying a big thank you to Dr. Ali Nuhu, who said, really invited us on this trip for ZUMA International Film Festival, and I eagerly said yes. My High Commissioner is like, are you sure? Are you able to make it based on all of the commitments? And I was like, I've never been to Nigeria, and you're telling me that I'm going to start December in Nigeria? I landed at like 5:30 a.m. and I could not be happier. I do not want to leave. I'm absolutely at home, so thank you so much. I listened keenly to what the Honorable Minister was saying, and I am inspired, very, very inspired. I think that sometimes Jamaicans believe they are Nigerians. Let me just put that out there. And the other thing that we talk about all the time with, I know you guys are probably very familiar with our High Commissioner here, High Commissioner Lincoln Downer, but he says, he's happy to always hear when persons are, is Jamaica in Nigeria? And that's one of the myths I do not want to debunk. I was like, yes, absolutely. Jamaica is in Nigeria. But being here, I think it really has opened my eyes. The amount of talent, the amount of charisma, and I am eagerly looking to see how we can work together. I think we watch more Nigerian content in the Caribbean than Nollywood content, to be honest, or even Hollywood content. And that's based on the fact the cultural resonance that we have. I love to see Black content. I'm a Black girl who grew up in the country, and I just love to see my people, because yes, you are my brothers and sisters. I love to see my people on screen. And I think my Jamaican creatives, I can speak on the behalf of them, because I am their champion, and I want us to create together. I think that is the mission for me. So at the top of the list, right, is absolutely having a co-production treaty with Nigeria. And I know Dr. Ali and I have a meeting set up tomorrow, so it is coming. And I'm really looking forward to bringing a delegation further on next year, hopefully, because you guys will not be able to get rid of me. So I'll bring more Jamaicans here to collaborate, because that is what it is having the creatives speak to each other. I know we are miles away, to probably 48 hours to get here, but it is important that we collaborate, we tell our stories, the cultural resonance, the food is amazing. So there's so many similarities, and I think I'm a true believer in storyteller. Honorable Minister, the note that I made here was I am really anxious to learn a little bit more about the IP policy that is going to allow creatives to get loans, bank loans, because that's a huge gap for us in Jamaica, right? From private equity to just the regular banks and even government, it has been really, really hard for us to get loans, grants in Jamaica for the creative industries. And I am grateful that last year the government of Jamaica would have announced with our finance minister, who is now with the IMF, but Dr. Nigel Clark, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark, announced a 1 billion Jamaican Film Fund, which is Jamaica Screen Development Initiative. And that for the first time, I mean, it's 40 years of the Film Commission, so it's older than I am, that Jamaica, who gained independence in 1962, is now getting for the first time their creatives on the ground will be able to get loans and grants. And that is a huge feat. So that's about $6.5 million US. But what we found when we were operationalizing the Film Fund is that we didn't respect the intellectual property. So I must commend you, Honorable Minister, in moving the policy for IP. And another thing for us is just learning. I know you guys have so much further to go with your industry, but we are the babies. Really and truly, we are a sector. And I really look forward to working with you all. And I hope, I mean, I could talk all day, because I'm excited. I'm really happy to be here. But thank you for this opportunity, and I'll definitely be back.
Thank you so very much, Jackie. And one of the things that struck me is that your government is deliberate putting film under industry, which means for them it's business.
Absolutely.
You know, what we have done is go a step further and talk about the creative economy. You know, so that's really good. And I'm happy you're talking about collaboration as well. Yeah, thank you. Jamaica is in Nigeria. That's our 38th street.
I love it. I love it.
37th. Now, to Kunle Afolayan, there's many of the streamers, beginning from DSTV here, and then the others are looking at hyperlocal contents, you know, and which is why I have a lot of language movies right now. So they're looking at hyperlocal contents, and we're looking at localization as well. And so this is huge. And so we are transporting our culture across, and you are obviously at the forefront of that. I'm going to be asking you a two-pronged question. How has that paid off? Because obviously you've done you've done an English movie before, you know. What's that one again? No, apart from, okay, October 1, and then the other one with Kemi was a couple of them. So comparing the two and seeing what mileage we've been able to get and how do you think that? So I want you to just revisit that for us. But more importantly, and I want to say this to the House because what we're doing is so important here, and I'm glad that Nida is talking about warehousing our content here first before moving it out. Now, Netflix came to serve the Last Supper here a couple of weeks ago. In case you are not aware, they invited our filmmakers to a party, but before then they had spoken to the people they had been dealing with. They were saying, look, we're pulling out, we're not doing business with you anymore. So it was what you might call a fatal Last Supper. You know, you agree with me, you know? Things like that should challenge us. It should provoke us, you know, because if you don't have challenges like that, you cannot see opportunities. You know, we cannot rely on them anymore. I want to say, what does that mean to you, and what advice, and what does that say to you, and what do you think, what are the lessons we should learn from that going forward? What do you think we can do, and how can government take advantage? Remember, he had suggested talking about a local, you know, a national, if you like, call it Netflix as well, or platform or whatever. So you're wearing the shoe. So speak to these two issues and yeah.
Okay. All right, again, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this. First of all, I mean, I've always said that film really does not have a language. We all grow up on Indian films, Chinese films, and we'll watch without subtitles, and you get excited, and you still catch the story, you know. And you know, Nigeria is an interesting country because the industry is so segregated. You know, you have the English film, you have the Yoruba film, you have Kannywood, and you have many woods, you know, and today we have, I mean, most of the content that I've done really well on Netflix platforms were done in native languages, you know, and for me, this says something. You reference Korean series. I'm very big on Korean content, film, series, Japanese anime, and these were all done in native language. But the interesting thing is, the language is not a barrier because these days you have the option of watching with subtitles, and you also have the option of watching with dub. So if you want to watch in German, you can. If you want to watch in a film like Nikolakbo is subtitled in 40-something languages, and it was dubbed in, I think, more than 15 languages, and it's streamed in 190 countries all over the world. But this is done in native language, a Nigerian language. So whatever it is we do, look, if you make conscious effort to be intentional when it comes to the kind of content that you make, the world will seek you. They will find you, even if you're in a shithole, and your work speaks for itself. I mean, we all started, you know, I mean, my first film was Irakbada. And when I did Irakbada to actually provoke the industry. This was in 2006. That was, I think, the second year that AMA Awards started. And at that time, you have categories like drama in English, comedy in English, then you have in Hausa, and then you have in Igbo, and that was what it was. But I did Irakbada Irakbada was multilingual, so it was a bit confusing. And they couldn't really, like, judge the film. And that was the year they created the category of indigenous language film, you know, and Irakbada won, you know, that year. I think we should continue to do what we do, you know, whether it's in English or Ibibio or Ibira or, you know, even minority languages. as long as the story sort of have universal appeal, and then production value is highly considered, you will get on several platforms. Coming to Netflix, I've tried to really avoid this because it's really heartbreaking, and it's a big blow, on us, because in my head I've been thinking, how can we come from earning in dollars, like millions, and then you're now thinking, where will I put my film? 3 years ago, when we signed the 3 film deals with Netflix, it was really exciting because it's like you've been given like a contract to say, for the next 3 years, we really don't care if you work for other people or do other things, but make one film for us per year. So that way you could focus on being a creative because these things are already like you have guarantee and you have funds, to make them. But again, Netflix will say to you, oh, we're doing this primarily for Nigeria. So the budget you're being given is tied to what they earn in Nigeria. But these films are doing amazingly well all over the world. Just like Oga Moazu mentioned, a week after Adekolapo film was released, it topped #1 globally, all over the world. And because of that, they commissioned the series, the first season. And after the first season, they commissioned season 2 and 3. Thank God we have shot season 2 and 3 because all the other people who were commissioned the same time with us, they've been canceled. The projects were canceled. And that is why sometimes you need to move. I just would like to encourage the filmmakers out there. It's a shame that most of my colleagues are not here because this is not a good representation of the industry. I can't even see my colleagues. And this is a national festival. This represents the entire country. And I would expect that people from, different tribes and countries and all of that will be here to celebrate. I'm not sure why, but I think it's something we need to work on. I mentioned it yesterday. I think government can do a whole lot too. And I listened to the Honorable Minister, and I really like, all of the things that have been noted, to be improved upon. But I think there is more. The industry is built really by individuals. I mentioned yesterday that the last time a grant was given by federal government was during Goodluck Jonathan's period, Project Nollywood Act. And a lot of people benefited for that. Some use it to do what they promised to do, but some people, of course, use it to marry more wives or buy cars or, and all of that. But again, we need this kind of gesture, because some people are making, for example, I know 3 or 4 individuals. We're filmmakers. We're actually supposed to sit back and just create. But because there were gaps and holes and, lapses in the industry, some of us have taken it upon ourselves to do more beyond just creating. I know Balanle is building a film village in, Ekpe. We've built one in Oyo. I know Ibrahim Shatta is also building one. And we started this project in 3 years. We started 3 years ago. And as we speak, we have a full, film village and resort where we have 70 rooms accommodation, and we have sets originally built and all. And people can come from different parts of the world. And there has never been one gesture or support from government. And I've reached out a few times. The Oyo State government donated transformer and some poles. But in that community, there hasn't been light in years. So the last time I had opportunity to speak, I said, what is the use of transformer and all of that when there are no electricity? So for 3 years, we've been running on generator, and it is not sustainable. And that is why we can't even open fully. So I would like to plead, to federal government. All we are asking is, incentives or some kind of support towards alternative green energy or solar or whatever that can, help us run, and it's going to be of benefit to everyone. On a last note, we need to create our own distribution platform. I'm very glad and happy with what people are doing on YouTube. Just like you said, I have, as a matter of fact, most of the actors and talents are being forced to become their own distributor. So everybody is now creating like YouTube, channels. But what if tomorrow YouTube comes and brings some policies that will, affect our projection and all of that?
Like Netflix just did.
Like Netflix just did.
Amazon
Amazon did the same thing.
Yes.
And we thought, but now I'm not even sure how to distribute. So if you make content, how do you distribute? So I think we can, and I'm not going to put that entire weight on government. And I think as practitioners, we also can come together and, have a discussion. My brother and friend Obi Asika is here, and, when it comes to content distribution and all of that, he's been in forefront, of this kind of a thing. So I think collaboration between government and the stakeholders will go a long way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And talking about Obi Asika, I don't know how I forgot, but he's one person that's been at the forefront of the digital space for us. Thank you for all that you do. We have said so much. I know that something whispered in my ears that the Honorable Minister will soon be leaving, so we're very conscious, and we'll try and round this up very quickly so that you can be on to your next assignment. But thank you very much for your time. We acknowledge. We have said so much. There is a representative of government here who will respond to what has been said and what has not been said. And that's in the person of Baba Akbar. I'm not going to ask you any question. I'll simply ask you to, you are government mouthpiece here, so whatever you say will be used against you in this evidence. Your time starts now.
All right, thank you, Dr. Okai. I'll start off by saying, yeah, Jackie, Jamaicans and Nigerians. And I'm sure later on we'll talk a bit more about that. And I've heard a lot about the Calabar High School. Oh, my God. Yeah, yes. Exactly. Yes. So there's a high school in Jamaica called Calabar High School, by the way. So yeah. But I'll try to go straight to it since we don't have too much time. I think a lot has been said, and rightfully so. And I think I'm amongst fellow filmmakers, so please pardon me to speak frankly and honestly. And this, we just have to share everything, right? I think for a long time, us filmmakers, we've discussed a lot of these issues. I always say that whenever filmmakers gather, these are the topics we talk about. And we've had different forums, different arenas. We've talked about it even at the guild structure. I know with Dr. Okai, we've had a lot of these conversations. And for us at government, I think we've tried to look at it holistically from an entire industry and let me say a space approach. And what we found, which we believe is the problem, is two things. Primarily a marketplace issue, which speaks to not, like was highlighted, being able to produce a lot, but the ability to actually sell, to distribute, to get it to the audiences. So there's no point if you produce over 2,500 films and you can't exchange it for money to keep producing, right? And then I think the other thing which I would say personally is, I've always said that we need to move from being a film community to a film industry. And it encompasses a lot of things, which also means we also need to do a lot of things that we might not normally do. And I know Dr. Okai whispered something to me just now while the conversation was going on when Mr. Folayan was speaking, and it was like, we're getting an idea of the numbers. And I think a lot has been said about Netflix and platforms, but I think it highlights this industry perspective. The more we come together, the more we speak, the more we share information amongst ourselves and not allow them divide us, the more we will be able to come up with our own solutions. right? For us to know, for instance, what happens with these deals, how these deals happen, how much is being spent on these deals, we're then able to say, from an industry point of view, how do we really want it to be? The problem is if they call everybody into the corner and talk to them, and everybody decides to hide all the information because they don't want everybody to know they've signed NDAs or whatever the case might be, nobody is able to defend you when everything is going to go bad because nobody knows anything, right? So I know a lot of filmmakers and young filmmakers express this sentiment because they always complain that Netflix only deals with a few people. We don't have any idea how it is. How do we get our things on Netflix? Who do we speak to? But nobody talks to them. Nobody shares this information. So you get into this situation where, like you say, you know, it's the Last Supper. Netflix breaks up with everybody, but then even nobody knows. And then you talk about support. How then can that support come if nobody's having that conversation, if there's no touch point? And that would lead me into the conversation on the grants. You know, the Goodluck Jonathan grants were nice, they were great, but again, it highlights a major problem from us not taking the industry approach. You have a one-time disbursement to the industry in a manner that's not institutionally stable, and the money went. Probably about $40 million worth at the time was injected into the industry. But because we didn't take that grant or that money in a way that the industry had agreed would be sustainable for it, 14 years later, 10 years later, we're asking for more. And it's not wrong to ask for more, that grants shouldn't exist. But how do we build these sort of industry frameworks that help us go forward? And I'll use that to segue into some of the work that we've been doing. So, you know, for us, was mentioned, access to infrastructure, equipment, funding, all those things are primarily things you have to provide. So what we've looked at is what's the setup of the industry right now from a policy point of view, legislative regulatory point of view. So how are the agencies set up to assist the industry? So you talk about the NFC. I know Dr. Nuhu is working on transmitting into a commission, which would then better position them to be able to provide services and actually meet the industry where it needs. You have I'll say this part last because I think that will make everybody happy. But you have, for instance, on the 23rd of October, the Federal Executive Council approved for the ministry to set up a Creative Economy Development Fund, which is envisioned as a debt, quasi-debt, and equity play. I'm sure the more seasoned people in the room are very familiar with the National Endowment for the Arts. That was approved in November 1991, but never took off. It was approved by National Assembly. So what we're looking to do is combine all of these so that you have the grants element of funding, you have the debt element of funding, and you also have the equity element of funding to be able to provide, from a content side and infrastructure side, the kind of financing that the industry needs.
I think it's clap worthy.
And I know a few of the people in this room have sent me various news articles about an Afrexim $200 million. So this $200 million is a commitment to that fund.
These have been earmarked. We want to earmark them.
No, definitely. But that's why I talked about sustainable structures, right? Because what we want is, there's this attention for the industry right now. We've seen what Afrobeats is doing. Nigerian creativity is being celebrated globally. We can get a lot of things now, but we have to make sure that we get it the right way so that we can build the right type of industry that we need. So that, the next time, let's say in 10 years on, we're having the ZUMA lecture, we're not talking about the same problems, but maybe new problems that the new world might bring. So I also get that sentiment from filmmakers that, they've been hearing about funding all the time, that. I'm like, I can't tell you more than I've told you, and that we're working on it, right? So I guess you just have to trust us. On the treaties, yes, they're moving along. Mentioned we're going to do something with Jamaica. I think, just because filmmakers might have, there was a filmmaker, but just because filmmakers might have not accompanied the minister to Brazil does not mean that filmmakers are not carried along in that process. And I think just to expatiate on that, the sort of treaty negotiation process actually starts off it's actually agency to agency. No, I know, but I'm saying the trip itself or the going there, I agree, be involved. That's why I said NFC needs to be repositioned a bit better. And they do talk to filmmakers, but maybe it might not be everybody, or it might not be in a forum that everybody's aware of, which comes back to this industry approach where...
Let me say something at this point. Yeah. You see, this is the same problem that agencies like Netflix have been, which is why sometimes when problems like this come up, there's nobody you can cry to for help. When there's a structure and you walk through that structure, it's easier. Like you're going for things like this, for instance. We can aggregate the problems of the industry, the challenges, and give them to whoever is representing. When you go with an individual, you just pick randomly. He's going there to represent himself. And let's not make the mistake, and let me say it here and now, where respect to all the actors. Please, actors in the house, put your hands together for them, okay? But there's a mistake that a lot of people make. The people who make the films are not the actors. It is the producers and the directors. These are people who actually make the films. And so most people will go pick an actor, a face, who is like a tool in the production process, and say, this is the face of Nollywood. It doesn't work that way. They're not the ones spending the money. They're not the ones losing money. They're not the ones who know, who are bearing the losses. It's important that you talk to a structure where everybody is involved, actors, directors, production managers, everybody, so that we can aggregate the problem of the industry.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Dr. Kai,
just saying.
But you would also admit that at the ministry, you would notice that that doesn't happen. We don't make that mistake of taking just actors. And the filmmaker I was referring to is me, not anybody else.
No, you are in government right now. You are representing government. You will speak for government,
I'm not
against government. No. The minute you transit, your interest will be your employer's interest. The filmmaker's interest will be his employers, which is the film-making community. Is it true or true?
So, Dr. Okai, are you saying here categorically now to the world stage that my interest is not the filmmaker's interest?
Your ultimate interest is to protect the government.
I agree.
Employer and employee do not have shared interest. Thank you.
Okay, I think we would carry on with that later. So just to give some background, as a lot of you know, Dr. Okai is the president of the Directors Guild of Nigeria. He's also currently the president, chairman of the Federation of Nollywood Guilds and Association, which is a forum that has all the major guilds, actors, directors, producers, everything. And right before this role, I was the national secretary of the Filmmakers Association of Nigeria. So we've had a lot of interesting conversations on these topics. So yes, and we'll continue to, and we always talk about these things anyways. So that's that. But I'll just talk a bit more about some of the other things that are happening. I talked about the funding one, but I think speaking more plainly and categorically to the point of incentives. So something that probably we'll see running out from next week. I know there's been a lot of talk about the tax bills currently at the National Assembly, and the whole thing has been VAT-dominated conversations. There are a few interesting things for the creative industries that I think the industry has been looking for a long time. The general one of income tax, personal income tax being adjusted a bit, corporate income tax coming down, which will be very useful. But I think particularly to us, especially in this globalized era, one of the major things that we're going to see is that export income, which usually is exempted, has been expanded to include services and IP, which means that, as we produce and sell globally, we're going to get favorable tax treatment for that money, basically excluding a major chunk of our income. So for creatives, this...
Let me interpret it for you. Let me interpret it for you. Please, guys, you give a big round of applause if this actually happens. What it means now is that when you make your money in dollars, government will not tax you, or the tax will be very, very small. Am I right?
Yeah. Yep.
When I hear them so, can you give them a big round of applause, please? What it means now is that there is a focus for us to begin to make our films and export them so that we can help in generating more foreign exchange into, please correct me if I'm...
Yeah, as long as you bring the money back and declare it.
As long as you bring the money back to Nigeria.
No, and declare it.
And declare it, and declare it. Don't hide it.
Yes.
Nobody will... Is it tax-free completely?
Yeah.
Or little tax?
The portion that's on the export.
Okay, so the export portion will be tax-free, but please declare it. If they know, you don't have a problem. But if you hide it
full rates
on your own, thank you very much. Clap for them once again, please. You see, when government do well, we applaud, we appreciate, sincerely. We're partners, okay? Where there's a problem is when we don't know what's happening, all right? Thank you so much.
So the second one, which I'd say I think everybody wants or has talked about, is tax credits. And what you have now is tax credits on production and tax credits on infrastructure as well. So they are currently contained in the bills at the National Assembly.
Wow.
So, you know, when those go through, we get
For
what
production and what?
And infrastructure. So it's an investment tax credit, which covers production and infrastructure. So,
please put your hands together. That's another very good one. Can you say it in pidgin English for us, please? I mean it. Say it in pidgin English.
You won't make a token for pigeon.
Tell them what you mean.
So, wait, actually, let me say what it practically means. So, basically, if you invest $1 million and government talks the credit at 20% for investment, government will give you $200,000 when you file your taxes as credits. Wow. Or if you trade, collect money.
When I hear what he talks, so now understand, so. This is about communication. Listen, make a break them down for now. If you invest or you even bring partners come, either in Nigeria here to come do work, maybe worth about $1 million. If the tax credit now 20%, after you don't spend that $1 million, government will refund for your tax when they check up. They will refund 20% back to you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Which means that there is now an incentive to do more here because you will get your money back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Which reduces further your cost of production.
So it's to make it clear, it's government financing, but sustainable financing for productive people in the space. So versus the days when government will just share money.
Share money. So spend the money, we give you back part of the money. Basically, is that it?
Yeah.
Clap for government again, I beg.
So I would leave it there because I know they're trying to rush us off stage. But
say it now. Let him wait. We want more good news. Let them commit themselves here now, Abi.
No, it's not.
Tell us.
So everything I'm telling you as an example is already captured in what is in the bill.
We didn't know.
No. I don't know. It's all this coming out. There's a whole rollout plan, right? So there are a lot of other things like zero-rated VAT, import VAT.
Zero-rated VAT.
Yeah, for your imports. So
for your imports.
Okay, so we talked. Okay, yeah, sorry. You mentioned something just now. You talked about equipment.
Yes.
So this covers that. If you invest in equipment, it's covered under this scheme. But a further thing we're having conversations with finance and customs about is for people investing in certain kinds of infrastructure, studios, equipment, TV stations, production facilities, can we waive duty as well? Now, so all these proposals have been accepted by the Presidential Tax Committee. So it's now the work with the guys at Customs and Finance to agree and implement it. So that one I can't promise you yet, but realistically, we'll get it. Realistically, we'll get it.
Is government working or not? Oga, cool down, calm down, calm down. It's our day. I propose that we will have, if you call it an investment summit or whatever, as a follow-up on this for the industry. Because you see, like I said, doing business without advertising is like winking at a lady in the dark. You know what you're doing, nobody else does. It's easy to condemn those in government, but it's not our fault. If we don't know what you're doing, we don't know. Permit me, she's our boss. But Madam, Honorable Minister, please stand up and take a bow. We want to acknowledge you. Please, I beg you. Please. You have done well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Just to add, so we can wrap up
Yes.
on what you just said, and identifying that gap, the Honorable Minister has instructed the team to work towards having a creative summit that both doubles as an investment summit and as a market. So that's something we're working on for next year.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in conclusion, we could have had a last word from everyone, but I know that time is fast spent. I also want to acknowledge that apart from the federal government, many state governments have been supportive. We listened to Her Excellency the Ambassador, who, you know, the head cannot talk without the neck, who is making things happen in Kwara State. Her interest is driving things here. The Executive Secretary of the Lagos State Census Board is here as well, and she's doing great things. The Lagos State government is doing a lot. Edo may not be here, but the Edo State government too has been doing quite a lot with its film hub. Kano, yes, okay, so Kano as well. So I want to encourage the other state governments, please, if we all in our own little corners do what we can, together we can make this industry what it should be. Thank you very much for listening to us. And I guess it's been a wonderful, enlightening, and informative session. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That has been the panel session. Thank you for the moderator, Dr. Victor Ohai, Dr. Ahmed Sarari, the DG NIDA represented by Dr. Aristotle Omano, Dr. Elox Chooks from the BPE, and I can see from the Jamaican Films, we have the Commissioner, Mr. Afolayan Kule, and of course, the SE on the Creative Academy, Mr. Babs Egba. Now it's time. The Minister, may we ask your indulgence, how we introduce something that's going to remain indelible in the mind of all of us. Photo session now with the Managing Director. Please queue up and let's have this, Your Excellency. May we ask your indulgence to queue up so that we have this moment, the Honorable Minister. It is a moment that will remain indelible. I'm sure some years we pick a picture and reminisce what transpired here tonight at this very important venue, the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa. Mr. Asika, please, may we ask your indulgence to queue up? Lagos State Census Board to queue up and, of course, join us. All right. We thank you. All the photographers, official photographers, should not miss this moment, please.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for
Alaji Sani Muazu is equally part of the panel. We thank you most sincerely for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for them, for the Honorable Minister. A round of applause. Are we tired? Thank you very much. Information, please, before I invite the Director, Public Affairs, NFC, for the goodwill vote of thanks. Please let me inform you that the Honorable Minister will be led by the Managing Director to the executive room over there. Yes. For their lunch. Every other person, you will be seated while the Managing Director lead the Minister and the members of the high table to that after the national anthem. Every other person, please, I encourage you to be seated. Thank you very much. Please, let me invite Mr. Brian Etuk, Director, Public Affairs, NFC. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, the mic, please, can we have? Hello? While the pictures are going on, I think I will just run the appreciation at once. And on behalf of the Nigerian Film Corporation, led by Dr. Ali Nuhu, the Managing Director, we'd like to express our profound appreciation and gratitude to His Excellency, the Vice President, Distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, who accepted to present this annual lecture and was represented by the Honorable Minister. We'd like to also convey appreciation to the Honorable Minister of State FCT represented, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, and especially the First Lady of Kwara State and the representative of Lagos State Government, DGs and CEOs of federal parastatals here, foreign and Nigerian filmmakers, and other stakeholders, especially Abuja creatives and filmmakers. We'd like to also thank especially the management and staff of the Nigerian Film Corporation and the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I would like to also appreciate members of my constituency, the press, for giving us this mileage. A few announcements. After this, we will take the national anthem straight away. But we have the EU Lab session at Chida. We'll go back, and then we'll have the film screening at Jabi Lake Mall. Thank you very much, and see you next year.
Thank you very much. Please, a photo section. Yeah.
Well, before then, the national anthem. May we all rise up as we take the national anthem of Adokoti, Nigeria. Well, Buster Sally, welcoming you all. Wishing you journey mercies back to your respective destination. Thank you, please. I remain MC Big Boy. Together with Emma Issa, we co-anchor this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MC Big Boy Jibrin Suleiman. My name is Ima Issa. I am an event MC. I want to appreciate the FCT led by the Secretary of the Central Planning Committee, Dr. Jume Amadou. Thank you very much for all your contribution, and God bless you. See you at Chida Hotel for the continuation of the EU Lab. God bless you.